That's right. We are on the 6th volume of JW's Pile of Stuff. Where's the time gone? Am I really going to get to like volume 205? Sadly, I mean, I have enough stuff to go on beyond my death. I mean, I'll have to record these and just have them keep going because, yes, anybody who knows me knows I have enough stuff to entertain you guys literally forever. Wrestling stuff, that is, anyway. So let's get to it. Another pile of stuff. As usual, we do 5 things that are kind of picked at random. I mean, there's a reason why I've had all 5 of these things laying around, but they have to be interesting. I mean, I like to present something a little different than your average everyday item that you can buy. I mean, you could buy all of these really, but I have an easy time finding them. But my thing, I like items that anybody can own, that anybody can have in their collection. It may not be easy, but I like accessibility, like with figures, like with the current action figures, like you see the Muda behind me. I mean, that one's signed, but there should always be a great window of opportunity for you to get what you want. Doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be a week. If there's like a day where you can pre-order the newest action figure, you have that day. There's really no excuse beyond that if you didn't order it on that day, but this, the thing where, you go on and you have to press it for the first 2 seconds or you don't get it. Yeah, that's crap. But that's not what we're about. We're about great old items, and that's what we're looking at today. Mostly old. There's one that's new. But we'll start out with going back 45 years, over 45 years, because it was February of 1980. Madison Square Garden, a mecca, right? February 18th, 1980. And there is Ken Patera. And that night, he would challenge Bob Backlund. And this is signed by Ken Patera. Just recently had it signed. And I wanted to say recently because his autograph is looking pretty good there. He always had a kind of a nice autograph like that for a few years there. He was getting kind of sloppy, and I don't know if it's, he's up in age, of course, but it's kind of getting back to what it was. So, happy about that. It's always a good thing. Always nice to see a nice signature. And there's Kenny P with his blonde hair. And what's interesting about this show to me is that it was the Madison Square Garden debut of Wildfire, Tommy Rich Wildfire. And he did go on to defeat Johnny Rodz, as you can see there. And what's interesting is, like I said, I recently had this signed at the Gathering, which was in Charlotte. I've talked about it ad nauseum to you guys. Both Johnny Rodz and Tommy Rich were at that show also. So just a little bit of trivia there. And there is a man who has been at, I guess he's been at the Gathering. I mean, I know he was at the hotel back with his NWA Fan Fest. Austin Idol, right there. Look at him. Look at that. Also, the Hulkster beat Tito Santana on that card. So, if you want to Google the rest of the results, February 18th, 1980. 45 years. I wasn't even born yet. I'm old, but I wasn't born yet. So, we're going to go back over 50 years to, I think, 1974. And I really should have figured out the exact year before I started this, but because I knew it, and then I said, like, oh, I know what year it is. I think it's 74. But Bill Apter, if you watch this, we're old buddies. I love Bill. Get a big hug every time I see him. If you're watching this, you can correct me, because this is all about you, my friend. Bill Apter had a 45 single. No, he didn't sing. It's a novelty song, and it's called Hey Patty. And this is it, and I did indeed get him to sign it. Now, what's funny is Bill loves all the items from his career, whether they're the magazines or tapes or, whatever it is. So, he was excited to see it, but it sort of stole a little bit of my thunder that somebody earlier in the year I saw on his social media had brought him one to sign at a different event. That's cool. I really thought this would be the first one he'd seen in years, but it is a novelty song, Hey Patty. And it's on YouTube. You can pull it right up on YouTube if you search Hey Patty, Bill Apter. And it's basically him doing a mock interview with Patty Hearst. And if you don't know Patty Hearst, Google. Big deal in the 70s. But the interview, her answers are in the form of little snippets from popular songs from the 60s and 70s. So, like I said, it's a novelty song. I mean, it's got the classic Bill Apter voice. He doesn't say, I'll see you at ringside, but he does say, Hey Patty. Pretty cool. you can find these. They don't go for cheap. I found mine. I was lucky enough to find mine when I was like, gotta get something cool for Bill to sign. I've seen them at high prices, so, grab it if you see it cheap. Look at that platter. Look at that. You can see my face recording this in there. That is shiny. That is mint. I ain't gonna spin it. It's on YouTube. Why scrape it with a needle? And from there, we're gonna go to 1987. And we're going to show a man who he wasn't even a year and a half into his career, because the career of Bam Bam Bigelow, we just hit the 40th, or what would have been the 40th anniversary of. Obviously, he's not even alive anymore, but he just would have celebrated the 40th anniversary of his first match, which was in New York City, at a small club show promoted by Paul Heyman. Ric Flair appeared, and Paul Heyman gave him an award. That picture of those two made the cover of the Wrestling News with Butch Reed on the other side. I have it. I'm sure you all have it. And so in 87, of course, about 2 years into his career, I think it was summer of 87, he started in the WWF. I used to know these things off the top of my head. Now I'm thinking, yeah, it would have been summer, probably maybe late summer. But in early 87, he was still toiling around with his trainer, Larry Sharp. And there you can see Larry Sharp right there, looking sharp. And Larry Sharp, thought he was going to do a Moolah deal where he was going to get a cut of Bam Bam's entire career and just be his real-life manager, and we know that didn't happen. But that's how it was presented at first, and as you can see here in the February 17th issue of Pro Wrestling Weekly from Japan, this may very well be Bam Bam's first magazine cover. And Larry Sharp's right behind him, kind of looking like modern-day Greg Valentine there. I did get to meet Larry Sharp before he passed away, fairly young. I think he was about 69. He was still running the Monster Factory, maybe not day to day, but he was certainly still involved. I have a Monster Factory brochure signed by him, which is a fun little item to have. And he was a nice guy. He really was. And it was nice to me the couple times that I met him. And there he is with his number one protege, Bam Bam, and probably one of his top trainees to come out of his Monster Factory school. I know Bundy, they certainly laid claim to Bundy. I don't know how much the timeline works, if he really started there. It's been a while since I've looked into Bundy's career, but some of the other monsters of the mat, so to speak, did come out of the Monster Factory. Charles Wright had some time there. There's a whole list, of course. And these Japanese magazines, they have such great photography. And that's why I try to feature, even if a couple long form videos ago, I did all Japanese items, but I try to pepper some into these piles of stuff and other things because they're just so much fun. And you know what I always say? Japan is the last great untapped frontier for wrestling memorabilia collectors, especially those of us here in the United States. Japan is where it's at. And speaking of stars who are patriotic, not to Japan, but America, that was a terrible segue. We'll go to Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And at the gathering, again, I did have 3 original promo photos signed. If you follow my Instagram, and I don't know why you wouldn't, I believe it was yesterday, I posted the original promo photo of his time in Team Canada. And I also got a 90 or 91 WWF promo photo signed. And I got the Janitor promo photo signed, which is also from 2000, I think, or is it 1999? And here I go again, 1999. Here I go again, squinting. I can't see it. I should be prepared, really. I mean, but off the cuff's a little more fun, don't you think? I think so. But there he is, Janitor Duggan, probably just about to fish the TV title out of the trash. And he enjoyed seeing these. He is one, I will say this. Now, on social media, and I believe in one of these vlogs a while back, I made the observation, or should I say rant, I don't know, it was kind of all of the above, about some wrestlers knowing the difference between a printed photo and an actual promo photo that was printed by the company. It's an actual item made from the company born. It's from the year that's on it. There's one wrestler who, I'm not going to name any names. It's one who's famous for upcharging nowadays at these shows, and it's not that, I'm not talking about Hacksaw here. And he actually, I had a couple of real promo photos to be signed, and he's squinting at them and he's saying, "These are really good prints there." And that was a bad imitation of his voice, but I'm thinking, yeah, dude, they're not prints, they're real. I don't deal with copies of promo photos, but I wasn't going to say that. Oh, here, have some more money because it's a real promo photo. Please. But on the flip side, that can be a nice thing in just with nice wrestlers too, because Duggan said, these are the real promo photos. These are the originals. I said, yes, sir, they are. I love original promo photos. And this is one. And like I said, you can see the Canadian Hacksaw on Instagram, and I'm sure we'll have the WWF one up there soon. But this is Janitor Hacksaw. And they did a Daniel Bryan, I guess he was part of the Wyatt family figure years ago, like over 10 years ago. And it didn't have sleeves, but I remember one time he had this, like, I don't know, sack outfit on, and I put it on the Hacksaw, and I was like, that's kind of like a ghetto custom of Janitor Hacksaw. It didn't have sleeves, but it was fun, And there he is. Oh, I love Hacksaw. I do. I just love him. He's the nicest. And I think we're going to do a Hacksaw vlog. We'll get the 2x4 out. There's a great story behind that, too. My apologies to Hacksaw. I think I owe you $20. But anyway, our last item is a figure. And we're actually going to get into some long-form vlogs with some figure reviews coming soon, because I've noticed something. And that's the figure review videos, just as in the traditional blog, always get more views, always. The shorts get a lot more. I think the algorithm of YouTube, am I allowed to say that in my video? Am I going to be banned? The algorithm of YouTube. It's like a deep government secret. Something with the shorts, they get more views, and that's why I've done some of the real quick reviews, but there are some things I want to say about some recent releases. So we're going to have some long-form figure reviews, and we're going to end this pile of stuff with a figure. Now, it's not a review because I didn't open it, but it's signed. And it is the Figure Collections Bone Crunching Wrestlers. Is it Bone Crushing? Sorry, they can't say Bone Crunching. Bone Crushing Wrestlers Ringside Collection figure of the Sinister Minister, James Vandenberg, Father James Mitchell, Daryl Van Horn, Deep Dive. And these are cool. I only have 2, I think, because a couple of years ago, maybe it was last year at the Gathering, Gilbert, Dwayne Gill was on the lineup, so I grabbed the new Gilbert figure, which is on the back right there, and got him to sign that. And this year I grabbed one of the Sinister Ministers, and they do a couple different colors. I think they do a red. The red to me is like the TNA figure. I have that signed. And I think there might be a black. I really like the purple, and it was on sale. I ain't ashamed, it was on sale. So I did grab that, and they're just sudden that they look just like the ringside, You could put this in front of somebody and be like, when was he in the WWF for Jax to make him? And they'd be like, oh, that's not Jax, but it looks like Jax. And there it is, and he's got that cool signature. And he loved the green paint pen. Some people would have went with red. I get that. I could see it. Some people just have to have it has to match the gimmick or whatever. I like the way it looks. I love this lime. It's almost a lime green. It's a lighter lime green, but he really enjoyed it. Everybody that signed with that pen really loved it. And I'm not a big paint pen guy. You guys know. If I can get away with ballpoint, I will. Tradition. But these Figure Collections bone crunching figures are really cool. Figure Collections is doing a great job. That little red crush you see behind me, that's in their retro line. They have some good stuff, some fun stuff. You can see they have quite a few. They're going to do Kona Crush. I remember seeing that. And then there's the Meanie. I still got to grab that because that's the Meanie I always wanted. like back in the day. I think he fits that design perfect, and they did Adam Baum and Gilbert and a few Randy Savages. And surprisingly, I mean, because they have his rights. Everybody has the rights, but Mattel, yeah, Mattel. And Sonny Ono, they did a couple different packs of Sonny Ono and the Ultimo Dragon. So there you go. That is James Vandenberg, the Sinister Minister. To wrap up the 6th pile of stuff, I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, we're heading towards some figure reviews. I think in one of them I may get a little salty. I have no fear. Like I said, I don't get paid off. I don't get things sent to me. And I'm not mad about that. Because that way I can be honest. There are, I don't watch the other reviews. I watch Mike Parker. Because he's a great guy. Pro Wrestling Mini Museum. I get to see him once a year at the Charlotte at the Gathering. And that's about it as far as wrestling memorabilia figure. I don't watch them. I don't have the time. I want to put my efforts into mine. I want to do my own thing. I don't want to be influenced. And of course, I watch Mick Maz Rips. He's your favorite food vlogger. If you're not watching, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with you. But anyway, back to, like I said, Mike Parker is the only. And if you're not watching Mike Parker, what's wrong with you too? So you should just do the trifecta: me, Mike Parker, and Mike Rips. But I don't watch these other, figure reviewers or whatever because I don't want to be influenced, and because they're not going to be honest with you. A lot of them are getting their product sent to them because they have it before us paying customers do. Which would be fine if I was one of them, but I'm not. But also, I couldn't be one of them because I am honest, and I like being honest. And I'm not going to tell you, oh, you know what, this figure's really great because they sent it to me. And meanwhile, it sucks. Meanwhile, it fell apart and I'm holding the leg on because I don't want you to see. No, I don't do that. I don't lie to you. I don't lie to anyone. And, lightning can strike here too. No, I don't lie to you. I appreciate you watching. I want to be completely honest and entertain you and enlighten you. That's what I've always wanted. So I hope you are continuing to be entertained and enlightened. And we'll see you next time. And maybe we'll get a little salty.